Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're all doing very, very well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. We're only, I think, around 500 away now from 30,000, which is crazy. So thank you so much to everyone that has recently subscribed. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, final day for me in Nigeria. My flight is in, a few hours time, still got a lot of time. My flight's at 11 p.m. I land in London, I think 5 in the morning. We're gonna chill for a little bit, then we're straight up to Nottingham for the LEIGH Michael CONLAN card. So yeah, excited to come back. I feel like my batteries are now recharged and I'm looking forward to getting in the green chair, getting to the studio, doing loads of more content, loads more interviews. Lawrence Cody was an interesting interview. I found him almost, not that he's not in love with boxing, but that he's already got his mind, his ideas on what he wants to do after boxing already planned out, which I find interesting just because I think he's only just started. I think he's still got loads of years left, whereas I don't think he thinks that. I think he thinks there's maybe a year left max at cruiserweight and then a couple of big money fights at heavyweight, which was interesting. All right, you know what we've not had a look at the card itself, so let's do that now. Let's have a quick look at the card. Obviously, I will say this though about the card. When Matchroom and DAZN released their schedule, I think so, was it February, March schedule, this was the main event that I liked the most. This is the one that stood out for me. Nottingham Arena, or was it the MOTORPOINT Arena? All the Irish coming in, Leigh Wood getting his opportunity, making some good money. Michael CONLAN, is he gonna fulfill all the potential? This was the one I saw and I was like, okay, cool. But I didn't look at the card in detail, it was just the main event. So now let's look at the card in detail and let's give it our honest thoughts, because that's what we do on this channel. Okay. Right, so obviously the main event speaks for itself. Leigh Wood versus Michael CONLAN. Really excited about that fight. You know what I'm excited about as well? A lot of people have said boxer versus puncher. That's the analogy, right? Boxer versus puncher. CONLAN being the boxer, Leigh Wood being the puncher, because Leigh Wood can crack a little bit. Leigh Wood's clearly bigger than Michael CONLAN. Michael CONLAN has recently fought a super bantamweight. If you can make super bantam, because Leigh Wood couldn't make super bantam if he chopped his leg off. So if you can make super bantamweight, you clearly are a smaller guy. But he's got this opportunity. He beat TJ Doheny in Ireland, and that's what's given him this opportunity. It was an interim fight for this title. I do hope that the WBA can sort this shit out with Leo Santa Cruz, because I hate the regular belt being attached to this title, because I think if Leo Santa Cruz hasn't fought in this weight division for, I think, going on 3 years now, then it's such an easy decision to make as well. Someone's not fought in a weight division, I think it's actually about 2.5 years. He's not going to fight in that weight division again. I doubt he will. So yeah, I think it's time they elevate the winner of this. The winner of this should be walking out of the ring, the legit WBA world champion. I spoke to both and both don't really care. Both are like, it's just the win that counts. That's the most important thing. And I get that, but this will be the nice cherry on top. Anyway, look, going back to it, Michael CONLAN's had so much. People have already crowned Michael CONLAN a world champion way back in his amateur days. I think a lot of people looked at him and thought, you know, that's the future. Whether it be the future at super bantam or feather, maybe even super feather, they thought, okay, Michael CONLAN's that guy. He's 30 now. He's 30 years old. You know what I mean? He's not. And you think 30 years old, and this is his first big fight. So look, we'll see how good he is. I still have my reservations for some reason. I think he's a better boxer than Leigh Wood, but I do think if it gets tough down the stretch, I expect Leigh Wood's strength and, I was going to say crowd, to kind of push him to a points victory, but I think it could be 60% Irish in there, so I don't know if crowd's going to play a factor, but I'm very intrigued to see how this one plays out. There is a bit of the Carl Frampton, Scott Quiggs about this, isn't there? It's not as big a fight as that was. That had everything. Barry McGuigan going back and forth with Eddie Hearn. Obviously, Carl Frampton was signed to Eddie. It had so many storylines in the lead up to it. So it certainly isn't that big, but what it could be like that in terms of fans. It really could, where Scott Quigg was the Berry man fighting in Manchester. You'd think that he would have most of the fans. Carl Frampton fucking brought all of Ireland with him, and it was just an incredible atmosphere and a very, very good fight. Like, it was actually a close fight. Like, I was in the Carl Frampton bandwagon. I remember I had a bet with a friend of mine, and I won the bottle because I picked Carl Frampton. But it's a very, very close fight, as is this one. This one could be as close. I'm leaning towards Leigh Wood. Let's not forget, I know Leigh Wood's got those 2 defeats, but I think he's better now under Ben Davison. And let's not forget, he beat Can Zhu. Like Kanju, no slouch. I know Kanju was out of the ring for a while, but he beat Kanju, who was legit. So look, I hope whoever does win this goes on to big fights. Navarrete's in the division. Maxayo, who beat Gary Russell Jr. is in the division. We've got Kiko Martinez versus Josh Warrington coming up. So look, there is no excuse for them not to be in big fights, but I'm leaning to Leigh just like 55-45. But in saying that, anyone else I speak to in the boxing world thinks Michael Conlan's got this, and they think that he could get this wide on a points. I think he could really just go in there and outpoint Leigh. I'm not sure about that. Gary Cully, apologies, versus Miguel Vasquez. This is an interesting matchup, you know. I know Miguel Vasquez is done now. He's past it in terms of competing at that world level, but he's still a tough Mexican. And Gary Cully wouldn't have said anything like this. This is a big step up for Gary Cully. I don't know, man. Let me have a look at Miguel Vasquez's last record, last sort of 5-6 fights. Okay, he's coming off a couple of wins against Isel Hernandez, who was 10-1, and Oliver Flores, who was 30-3. Do you remember that fight against Lewis Ritson, where he beat Lewis Ritson? Remember that? One of the most horrendous, we talk about fucking judging decisions up in Scotland. Remember that one? October 2020. So that's how good he is still, because Lewis Ritson's a decent fighter, and he beat Lewis Ritson. Everyone was like, oh, this is a robbery. That's who Gary Cully's fighting, just if you want a quick reminder. Well, it won't be easy. Hara Davis beat him. I don't remember that fight. At York Hall, Ian John Lewis scored it 94-97, so make of that what you want. But good step up for Gary Cully. Terry Harper, this is an interesting one, because Terry Harper's coming off that loss against Alicia Baumgardner. She takes on Yamili Abelanida. Don't know too much about her, but let's see what Terry Harper can do at the higher weight class. Let's see where her head is mentally. Coming off a very bad stoppage against Baumgardner. Very bad stoppage. She's actually very lucky that the ref jumped in and took. Like, Baumgardner was about to unleash hell. I don't know if you guys remember that hook, and then the ref jumped in the middle and kind of took a lot of the force himself. I'm very interested to see where she is mentally, Terry Harper, because talent-wise, we all know it's there. Steffi Ball's going to have her in great condition, but mentally, where is she? We'll see. The co-main event is Kevin Ajarko versus Juan Carlos Rubio. Kevin still very young in his boxing journey, only 10 fights in. This will be his 11th pro fight. Yeah. I thought the last time out he rushed his work, got the stoppage, but I thought it was very rushed. The power was clearly there. He's a very thick set guy, really thick legs. I want to see how far away he is from your Fowlers, who's now a middleweight, your Felix Cashers, your Denzel Bentleys, those kind of guys. I want to see how far away he is from that. Because I know they're already talking about potential fights with those type of names. I'm not quite sure, but we'll see. Sandy Ryan, very interested in this fight, very interested. She takes on Erica Farias. Erica Farias is 26-5, but experienced. Erica Farias' last 3 defeats, and I know people are going to go into BoxRec and look that Erica Farias has lost 3. Michaela Mayer, and she lost 2 back-to-back against Jessica McCaskill, who right now is the 147-pound undisputed champion. That's who Sandy Ryan's fighting in her full fight. It's a big step up. Again, look, I hope and I expect Sandy Ryan to get the job done, but that's a big step up. Again, this girl last lost to Michaela Mayer and Jessica McCaskill. She's no slouch. I mean, we'll see what she can do. Thomas Whitaker fights, he takes on Simon Krebs. These are fights that go on before the bell. Thomas Carty takes on Michael Bolos, and Nico Leva's debut takes on Josh Hernandez, who's 4-38. It's an okay card. Again, some intriguing matchups. Some really, Gary Cully versus Miguel Vasquez could be fight of the night. It really could. Leigh Wood versus Michael Conlan. Obviously, everyone's there for that. That's why it's sold out. It's a great main event. But I think there are some intriguing fights on the undercard as well. I'm really looking forward to, the ones I'm really looking forward to that stand out for me is Gary Cully. I'm looking forward to Sandy Ryan's fight as well, to see what Sandy Ryan's got, because Clifton Mitchell, who trained Sandy Ryan, was talking to me and Tony Bellew a few months back, and he was like, we want Chantel Cameron next, pretty much. Chantel Cameron's obviously got that fight against Callie Reese for all the marbles at 140 pounds. If she comes through that, then Chantel Cameron's obviously going to want a piece of Katie Taylor. But depends what happens with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. So look, Sandy Ryan, could find her way in there. We'll see. All right, let's quickly see if there's any more news before we move on. I'm going to do a separate video, by the way, about AJ Joe Joyce. I've seen how that's starting to grow some grow some legs on social media. We'll get back to the green chair and we'll do it tomorrow before we head up to Nottingham. Sam Jones, who's obviously going to say that he thinks his guy's going to win. I was like, absolutely no chance. Let's stop the disrespect to AJ. AJ will beat Joe Joyce. I think Joe Joyce is tough and he can take a punch. Can he take an AJ punch? We shall see. And not only that, but he doesn't move. Like, AJ's problem's movers, isn't it? Like, even say what you want about Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz got fucking fast hands and those little fat feet can move. Usyk we know can move. Joe Joyce ain't the best mover in the world. He'll be perfect. Tailor-made for AJ. Don't get me wrong, he's got a gas tank. No, I'm spoiling the whole video. I need to speak about it tomorrow. He's got a good gas tank, but AJ would deal with that. Jamel Charlo named for alleged role in open case against twin brother in Fort Bend County. Next, Dan Aziz inks long-term promotional pact with boxer. Yeah, good luck to Dan Aziz. I think he fights on the March 20. Is it 20? I think yeah, March 26 card, the same day as at Warrington Kid Galahad. Sorry, Warrington Kiko Martinez. Dan Aziz coming off a really good win against Hosea Burton. Fantastic performance that was, like punch perfect. So we'll see how it gets done. Anything else before we? This is interesting. Vladimir Klitschko, or actually both Klitschkos, have said that Bivol should not be allowed to fight Canelo, and that sanctions should be brought on all Russian athletes, so you know the world can show Russia how serious they are. I'm a bit like that with this one. You know, I almost feel like sort of people of a country shouldn't be punished by its dictators. Like Bivol has worked hard for this opportunity and he shouldn't be punished because of his president and the hierarchy of Russia. That doesn't make any sense for me, so I don't like it. I've started to see it with other sports. I think in Formula One, I can't remember what the driver's name is, he's been kicked out of Formula One, or at least for this year. Not a fan of things like that. What are they supposed to fucking do? Do you know what I mean? Conor Benn versus Chris Van Heerden finalised April 16th in Manchester. This has not gone down well. I've seen the reaction to it. I mean, well, I knew it wasn't going to go down well. I think this is actually a good matchup, but I understand how people are like, oh, come on. I actually don't think it's that bad. Again, didn't Boots Ennis have a fight with Conor Benn, sorry, with Chris Van Heerden, I think 3 fights ago for Jaron Ennis? Let's have a quick look. And everyone considers Jaron Ennis the future of the welterweight division. So it's okay for him to fight Chris Van Heerden 3 fights ago. When? Yeah, 3 fights ago. So he fought him. It ended, remember, because of an accidental head clash. But he fought him on the 19th of December 2020. So it's okay for him to fight Chris Van Heerden, but Conor Benn, You know, the funny thing is, yeah, can I be honest with you? If any of these names, like even if Conor Benn was to fight Sergey Lipnitz, I think people would go, oh, fucking hell. I genuinely believe that. Thomas Stallone, I think people would go, oh, come on. I don't know what names people want Conor Benn to fight at this stage of his career. Like people will say Avanesian, I think that's the one maybe people are saying he should fight. But apart from that, I don't know what other names, like chuck some names out, because I'm a bit confused. Because I know where Conor Benn is in terms of his development. And I feel like a Chris Van Heerden is a solid fight. Solid fight for Conor Benn. Again, I will compare it to Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis is, people think Jaron Ennis is right there, ready to fight the likes of Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, and whoever, even some names at 154. He fought Chris Van Heerden 3 fights ago. Boy, what do you think? I'm not sure. Abel Sanchez wants Golovkin to be aggressive again. He's trying to be something he's not. I guess there might be a bit of truth in that. Golovkin initially, Golovkin's always been a boxer. I think Abel Sanchez is almost alluding to the fact that he might not have been a boxer. Go and watch his performance against David Lemieux. Always a boxer, always uses his jab, always fights off his jab. Maybe he's trying to fight on the back foot a bit more, trying to counter punch. He's right, he's not that. He sets off, he uses his jab, and then it's aggression. I don't know. I think if he's trying to, you know, elongate his boxing career, maybe he can't have wars all the time. We saw that against Derevyanchenko. You can't always have a war because he's not that guy anymore. So maybe it is a case of, you know, using more of his boxing ability. Maybe it is a bit of back foot boxing, which might not be pleasing to the eye, but it's going to mean he has a longer time in this boxing business. Kamaru Usman, we'll end with this one because Kamaru Usman's a bit slightly deluded here. Me and Canelo will be the biggest fight in combat sports history. No, it won't. It won't at all. Like there's, you know when you think there's so little interest in this, it's unbelievable. Like I like Kamaru Usman, and I get it. Right now he's struggling to find an opponent, and right now he wants that big check, and I get all of that. Congratulations to him, but Canelo would light his ass up in 2 minutes. I'm not even going to say a round. If Canelo wants to put it on him in 2 minutes, it would be over in 2 minutes. No, I'm not even taking a piss. Kamaru Usman's tough, but his hands are awful. Can't fight, can't box. He's got better, but he's got better in terms of UFC standard better. In a boxing ring, he will get lit up by the pound for pound #1. No one wants to see that fight. No one's interested in that fight. All these talks about crossover fights, none of them happened. The only one that was of any interest was the one that was made, and that was Conor McGregor Floyd. All this is nonsense. Kamaru Usman has never been a big seller, and he's going to try and... Canelo will take the money, but there won't even be that much money involved because no one will be interested. Peace and love, people.